Have you ever heard of a shadow that wasn't just an absence of light, but something alive, a secret so profound it could rewrite our understanding of reality itself? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of history's most chilling and classified projects, Operation Black Sun. It all began in the frantic post-war era of scientific discovery. Governments were pouring billions into projects that pushed the boundaries of human knowledge. While some teams were racing to the moon, another, far more secretive group was trying to peer into a different kind of darkness. Their goal? To study and potentially harness something they called exotic dark matter, a theoretical substance believed to exist in the spaces between spaces, a kind of cosmic connective tissue. The official name for this endeavor was Project Chimera, but to the handful of physicists and esoteric theorists who worked on it, it was known by its ominous codename Operation Black Sun. The lead scientist, Dr. Aris Thorne, was a brilliant but controversial figure. The primary facility was built deep beneath the Nevada desert, a location chosen for its geological stability and isolation. It was a marvel of engineering, a multi-level complex shielded by feet of lead and concrete. At its heart was the crucible, a spherical chamber where the experiment would take place. For years, Thorne's team worked, refining their calculations and building the massive arrays needed to generate the required energy. The costs were astronomical, but the potential rewards were considered limitless. Clean energy, faster-than-light communication, perhaps even a gateway to other dimensions. Early tests were promising but strange. Instruments would record bizarre energy fluctuations, phantom readings that seemed to defy the known laws of physics. Team members reported experiencing vivid, shared dreams and an unnerving sense of being watched, even when alone in the most secure parts of the facility. They dismissed it as stress, the product of long hours and intense pressure. They couldn't have been more wrong. The date was October 31st, 1972. After a final series of checks, Dr. Thorne gave the order to initiate the full power sequence. The plan was to create a stable, contained singularity for just a few nanoseconds. As the generators spooled up, a low hum filled the complex, growing into a bone-rattling roar. Inside the control room, monitors showed the energy levels climbing, reaching unprecedented thresholds. Then at the peak of the energy spike, something happened that no one had predicted. The lights in the facility flickered and died, plunging the entire complex into emergency power. All readings from the crucible went flat. But it wasn't empty. In the center of the chamber, where there should have been a microscopic point of energy, there was now a sphere of perfect, absolute blackness. It was about the size of a basketball, and it didn't reflect any light. It simply consumed it. A chilling silence descended on the control room. This wasn't a singularity, it was something else. Dr. Thorne, mesmerized, ordered a remote probe to approach the sphere. As the robotic arm got closer, the sphere seemed to react. It didn't move, but thin, black tendrils like ink in water uncoiled from its surface and reached for the probe. The moment they made contact, the probe's camera feed dissolved into static, and all its sensors went dead. Panic began to set in. The sphere was stable, not dissipating as it should have. Worse, it appeared to be slowly, almost imperceptibly growing. Thorne's theory had been partially correct. They had captured something, but it wasn't just matter, and it certainly wasn't inert. It was as if they had punched a hole in our reality, and something from the other side was now seeping through. Over the next few hours, the situation escalated. The entity, as they began to call it, started exhibiting terrifying new abilities. It could manipulate shadows, stretching and contorting them into impossible shapes. Staff members reported hearing whispers in empty hallways, their own names spoken by voices that weren't there. The feeling of being watched intensified, replaced by a tangible sense of a malevolent intelligence studying them, learning from them. The true horror began when the entity breached containment. It didn't break through the walls of the crucible. Instead, it used the facility's own shadow network. It flowed through the darkness under a doorway, manifesting in a new room. Security personnel who tried to confront it found their flashlights flickering out, their weapons jamming. They weren't attacked in a conventional sense. They were simply erased. One moment they were there, the next, only a lingering shadow and a profound, chilling silence remained. Dr. Thorne, horrified by what he had unleashed, realized their only option was a desperate, last-ditch measure. The facility was equipped with a fail-safe, a small, tactical nuclear device designed to vaporize the entire complex in the event of a catastrophic failure. It was the ultimate containment protocol. He gathered the surviving members of his team and explained the plan. They would initiate the self-destruct sequence and attempt to evacuate. But the entity seemed to know. It moved with purpose, blocking off escape routes, turning the familiar layout of the facility into a deadly, shifting labyrinth of darkness. Thorne and a small group made a frantic dash for the secondary control center, the only other place from which the failsafe could be armed. The final log entries from Dr. Thorne are the stuff of nightmares. He describes the entity as a sentient absence, a cancer of reality. He wrote that it communicated not with sound, but by implanting feelings of pure, undiluted dread directly into their minds. It showed them images, not of things that were, but of things that weren't. A world without light, a universe without life, a silent, cold, empty nothingness. He spoke of the shadows in the control room moving on their own, of the cold seeping into his bones. His final words were not for his family or for posterity. They were a warning. "We looked into the abyss," he whispered, his voice barely audible over a rising static hiss. "And it looked back. Don't make the same mistake. Bury it all." Then the recording cuts out. Official records state that Operation Black Sun, or Project Chimera, ended due to a catastrophic reactor meltdown at an unnamed research facility in 1972. The entire site was sealed and declared a permanent exclusion zone. To this day, the location remains one of the most heavily guarded and restricted places on the planet. But whispers persist. Some say the failsafe didn't destroy the entity, that it only managed to trap it deep underground. Others claim that a small piece of it escaped, a fragment of living darkness that now drifts through the world, drawn to places of deep shadow and profound sorrow. Is it just a cautionary tale, a modern myth born from the Cold War's secret projects? Or is there a reason we instinctively feel a shiver of fear when we find ourselves alone in the dark? The story of Operation Black Sun suggests that sometimes the shadows are watching back. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the unknown. What do you think happened down there? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy exploring history's greatest mysteries, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay curious and stay safe.